Raptors, Milwaukee Bucks, game 2 of the best of 7, and the Bucks up 1-0.
At every night, when the game starts, my teammates are looking at me, and as a leader of the team, when the game starts, you gotta set the tone. You gotta be focused.
Giannis, and it's put down on the follow. Here's Gasol, blocked from behind.
And this crowd is absolutely rabid right now.
He plays so hard. He just, he lays it all on the line all the time, and it was a great start for us, and I think everybody fed off of Giannis and how he started the game. It's how you want to come into a game too.
Beautiful whip pass by Bledsoe for the setup. Heritage got him from downtown.
You got your coverages and your things you're going to do at the beginning, and we just missed them early. Right, we were just a step too slow on just about everything, and gave them confidence early. You know that they're at home and they're going to come out with an extra pep in their step, and we just didn't do a good enough job of getting ourselves set up.
Middleton from way downtown with another three-pointer for Boston.
It's so nice seeing guys, come into the game, being mentally prepared, setting the tone for the whole team, and just playing hard. This is the beauty of basketball. This is the beauty of our team, that we trust one another. In this team, any given night, guys can step up.
To come out and start game 2 with that kind of effort on both ends of the court, it's what you're looking for. We just got to keep working, keep thinking about getting better.
In case you hadn't noticed, the Bucks are 10-1 this postseason, with easily the best net rating of any team in the playoffs, and already have 6 wins by 20 or more, including Game 2 Friday night. Those 6 blowouts tie 3 other teams for the most 20-point wins in a single postseason. Hasn't been close so far, but the series moves to Canada for Game 3 on Sunday. Toronto trailed by as many as 28 in Game 2. It's their most lopsided loss of the postseason so far. Frankly, it doesn't look great for your old team at this point. We know venue can change some things, so give me the blueprint for the Raptors getting back in this thing.
Well, I think they got to get back to ball movement. That's one. I think I like Kawhi.
Kawhi, yep.
Being aggressive. I do love them, really trying to activate him, but I think sometimes you can try and do too much. He needs help from the whole entire team. You have to have a collective really going after this team. If you look at the Bucks, offensively and defensively, they're coming at you with about 8 or 10 guys. Kawhi is going to need some help. He's going to have to get more assists, get more guys involved. And I think Siakam's the X factor. I said this a couple days ago. He has to get off to a tremendous start because he's their energy. He's the guy that gets the putbacks, offensive rebounds, the buckets in transition. Big defensive plays. If he plays well, I think they'll get back on track.
Well, that had to be a question for the Raptors coming in. Could Pascal Siakam, who's had this rapid ascent, be the number 2 scorer on an Eastern Conference championship team? When you look at these guys, the balance just isn't there. 31 for Kawhi in Game 2, 33 for the other starters combined. Kawhi may be the best closer in this series, but it doesn't really matter if they're down by 20 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it really doesn't, and Kawhi definitely needs some help. Somebody else is going to have to step up. And when Chris was in Miami, you guys had the big 3. If Braun wasn't going, it could be your night. If you weren't going, it could be Wade's night. Well, Kawhi doesn't really have that luxury. Lowry, he did play good in Game 1. He played actually great in Game 1, but he's been inconsistent in the playoffs. When you look at Siakam, he's young. He's trying to develop into trying to be a true number 2 option. Right now, it's going to come down to the other guys, the role players, and the secondary scorers on this team. Are they going to step up and play to the level that the Milwaukee guys have? If not, it's going to be a very short series. And then when you throw on top of that, Milwaukee's backcourt hasn't even played well yet. When you talk about Middleton and Bledsoe, those guys haven't played well yet. So Toronto at home, they're going to have to go ahead and make some adjustments to their schemes, and they're going to have to do things a little bit differently, a little bit harder. And those role players, and especially the bench guys like Van Vliet, they're going to have to step up and make their presence felt.
First of all, let's talk about this season when we kept saying Toronto has such a deep bench when everybody's healthy for them. That bench doesn't look too deep against Milwaukee's group that they have coming in. When 3 of your 5 starters can't make a shot, and I'm talking about Gasol, Green, and Siakam right now, struggling to make shots, that's a problem. In the first 2 games, 17 more free throw attempts for Milwaukee going to the line, 27 more total rebounds for Milwaukee. So fouling too much, send them to the line. They make their free throws. And if you're going to give them second and third shot opportunities, you're asking for a headache.
You know, Giannis was 10 of 20 at 30-17, which seemed like pedestrian numbers for him, right? We just sort of come to expect it. It wasn't even like a crazy Giannis game. He's not playing crazy minutes, but they're blowing people out, so he doesn't have to. He hasn't had a game in the playoffs where he's had to play 42 minutes and put up 45 points yet.
One of the impressive things about this Bucks team is that they've proven that they can win a bunch of different ways. They can win if their superstar isn't playing very well, which 30 points.
He was 10 of 20. He's still playing great.
Pretty good,
yeah.
Right? But one of the most fascinating things that I've found is the balance that they find in filling in that gap. Chris Middleton hasn't shot the ball well, but he's done a tremendous job as far as stepping up and taking a challenge on defense and guarding Kawhi Leonard. You need those things. Those are gaps that you have to fill. He will eventually get his shot going, and once that gets going, it's going to be a huge problem for the Raptors.
You know, I know they didn't bring Marc Gasol in for offense necessarily, but he was terrible in Game 2. He would be the first to say that. And the Bucks kind of set the tone when Giannis blocked his dunk attempt in the opening, minute of that game. What can he do? You're not going to expect him to score 20. What can he do to turn things around in Game 3, set a tone, whatever it might be?
I don't know if he can still do it or not, but I do not see the old Marc Gasol that would go down in the low post area when he was in Memphis and punish people down there, because he could play out of the low post.
Right.
And then the plus was when he added range to his shot. Now they've got him out by the three-point line. Well, now it's almost been reversed that he's out at the three-point line too much, not establishing himself down low. And the other thing is, I'm wondering if they've given the thought of playing him like Detroit did, taking Drummond and putting Drummond on Giannis, because we saw in one of the highlights, Matt, that when Kawhi Leonard went on him, Giannis just overpowered him, shot it right through him, three-point play, because he's long and he's strong, and that's a problem for smaller guys.
I think an X factor in this series might be Serge Ibaka. I think they might need to get more out of him at home. You talk about Marc Gasol and his play that hasn't been strong early on in this series. A lot of that comes because Milwaukee has a lot of long athletes that are able to come in there and block shots. And Marc, listen, he's getting older. He's 34. And at 34, you're not playing the same way you are in your 20s, and it gets a little bit harder to score inside, and that's why you're seeing guys like Brook Lopez and Giannis affect his shot. A guy that still has a lot of pop left in his legs is Serge Ibaka. Whether you're playing those two together to combat the size of Milwaukee, or maybe sacrificing some of Gasol's minutes and going with Ibaka, I think Ibaka could really help this team.
But Ibaka's not a low post player.
Well, we don't need him to score
He's
in the block.
He's a face-up jump shooter.
What we need is somebody that when Kawhi drives and they throw it to him, they can finish with power. Because right now they feel like they can help off of Marc and then come back and block his shot on the weak side, and they've done that quite easily.
Raptors are 0-7 all time when trailing 0-2 in a series. We'll see if they can turn that around.